a lot of people think, oh, my story isn't any good. Like, no one will want to read my story. But guess what? Somebody does. Your kids do, family, your friends, even somebody who doesn't want to feel alone.
Yeah.
They want to connect with somebody who's gone through something that they think no one else has.
That's right.
But here is your story saying, no, I went through it. I got through it.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was tough, but here I am.
Hello and welcome to Coffee Connections podcast. You don't usually see me looking like this. Yes, it is me. This is Cindy Chase. Thank you for joining us. It's a very brisk spring day here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Sunny Alberta. Look at that sun shining. I thought I'd do something a little bit different. Today we're going to revisit one of our previous guests from a couple of years ago. Her name is Leah Story, and it's funny, she's a writer. She will write a story for you. She'll write your story. She will write your corporate story. If you need a bio done for your website or to put in your portfolio, watch this video with Leah, get to know her a little bit, see if she's somebody that you would be able to work with. She's a very down-to-earth lady, and I met her through the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce. And so we're going to have another look at Leah, and maybe we'll do a follow-up video and talk about what's new in her life, and maybe she's got new services, maybe she's got a new website. We'll find out. See this view? Could you imagine living here? Beautiful. So, just sent out the second edition of the Coffee Connections podcast monthly newsletter. We've got a couple of advertisers in there. There's more opportunities for advertising if this is something that you think might be a good fit for you and your products and services. Most of the people that receive the newsletter right now are business owners and service providers, but soon we will have many more people watching and reading the newsletter. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, it's free. You can go to the website, coffeeconnectionspodcast.com, and there's a tab along the top there. It says newsletter. Click on there, tell us a little bit about what is in the newsletter, and you're welcome to subscribe as well. If you want to be in the newsletter, you would have to become a guest, and that's how you become a tribe member. So we hope that you become a tribe member. The bigger the tribe, the more fun we're going to have. I want to mention our advertisers. Bill from Chase Custom Construction. He does kitchens and bathrooms and decks and garages and all sorts of stuff. If you need that, spring is here, right around the corner actually. This Saturday we put our clocks forward, so we're going to lose an hour of sleep, which kind of sucks, but we'll just go to bed earlier. No excuses, right? And also Ty from Muscle Beach, Canada, here in Edmonton, Alberta. You can get bodybuilding workout clothing there. You can get supplements and nutrients, and you can get workout equipment, workout belts, gloves, all sorts of stuff. You can check those two advertisers out in our newsletter, and you can get to their website from the newsletter. Click on the links in there. Good morning, this is Cindy. I want to introduce you to my new friend, Leah Story. She does writing, editing, and publishing. And the name of her business is Our Family Lines, and that's for personal, correct? And then our corporate history is for corporate services. Today we're going to get to know Leah, and Leah, can you tell us a little bit about your businesses and how you got into that kind of work?
Sure. So I write, edit, and publish your stories, basically. So memoirs, personal histories, corporate histories, website bios, things like that. So if you have something that needs to be written and you don't have time, or you feel a little intimidated by writing, then that's where I come in. So I start with interviews.
Okay.
So I will talk to people and collect all the information, and then depending on what the person wants, then I will either make it into a story or a brochure or a website page.
So you're kind of like an investigator.
Well, my background's in journalism,
Okay.
and so that's what journalists do. We talk to people, do a bit of research, and then stitch it all together.
Did you start with corporate or did you start with personal?
Yeah, I started with the personal side because it's easier to meet people, networking,
Yeah.
and talk to them and get their personal histories, their personal stories.
Right.
And that's what seems to be the big thing right now. You know, we have Ancestry.com,
Right.
all these genealogy sites. And I'm not a genealogist, I do the stories. So the stories that come out of families. But that's what's hot right now. People want their family stories in a book.
Usually with a story, there's photos. Do you take the photos as well?
Yes, I will take photos, but often we have people with tons of digital photos,
Yes.
photo albums, documents, not birth certificates, because that would be illegal, but things like World War II, salary booklets,
Or ticket stubs.
concert
Wow.
stubs.
Postcards.
Yeah, all things like that. So when I receive something like that, I scan it in, and then that goes into the book as well. It's a legacy.
Yes.
It's for them. In the end, they get something that they can pass down and enjoy for, I want to say, thousands of years.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too, is technology changes, but books, we still have books.
Yeah.
We still have books. So the floppy disk, who has them anymore?
Exactly.
But we still have books. So
Yeah.
that's something that has lasted.
And you get them published, right? It's editing and publishing.
That's correct. I take it all the way right from the interview to the publishing stage.
Wow. Would they ever sell these books, or is it mostly, they hand it down to their families?
It depends on the client. So some clients just want the family story for themselves, and that's great.
Yeah.
So they order how many books they want, and that's it.
Yeah.
But some families do put the books in bookstores. So independent bookstores, Chapters, Indigo, places like that. You don't have to be famous to sell books,
Really?
but yeah, you have to have a topic that people will feel connected to,
Right.
and you need to have drive, because books don't sell by themselves. So
Right.
if you really want your book to sell, you have to market it.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't do that part. You are there you go. That's where you would come in.
That's right. Well, you know what? I think your job would be very interesting.
Oh, it's amazing. I meet so many interesting people and hear so many interesting stories. And the thing is, I've met some people who have done amazing things and met so many different people, but that's just one side of stories.
Right.
The quiet moments with your grandmother or your dad fixing a car, things like that. Those are also important moments. It does not have to be something huge and exciting, a big event. It can be those softer moments. We're looking for life experiences, life lessons, so our future generations don't have to go through some of the things we did. Yeah, so we're passing down our stories so they can learn from us. Or maybe they won't learn from us, but they can see themselves.
We can say we told you so.
Yeah, but then they can also see themselves in the
Yes.
lines of the stories.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the corporate history, our corporate history.
Well, a lot of times our businesses are us, and we don't see that. The client or the customer does not see that.
Mhm.
They see a storefront or an auto body shop,
Yeah.
But little do they know how that business started.
Yeah.
And there are hopes and our dreams and our fears all in one place.
Yeah.
So it's showing the clients, the customers, who the person behind the business is,
Yeah.
and giving them the business a personality, a soul.
Branding.
Yeah,
Personal
branding.
branding and corporate branding
Mhm.
are all tied into one.
That's right.
Yeah. It's basically your reputation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And often people will feel connected to a business or a company if they know the backstory.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you.
Hmm.
Leah without an H. How did the idea for your business come about?
Well, I'm a journalist, and I was laid off in 2011
Mm-hmm.
from a newspaper organization in Calgary. And I needed something to do. So I thought, with my writing skills, my interviewing skills, my layout skills,
Yeah.
I could put together a story writing business. So that's how it came about in 2011. I wanted to set my own hours. I wanted to be my own boss and just try it. And Alberta has a great entrepreneurial spirit, and we've seen that in our province.
Yeah.
And it was something that I thought, if I don't do it now, I won't ever get a chance to do it.
Right. So how did you build a successful customer base?
Well, talking to people, just like we're doing here. So networking and meeting people, and basically just
Word of mouth?
word of mouth.
Yes.
Yeah. And my website, that helps too, social media.
Do you prefer one over the other, meeting in person or meeting on Zoom? Does it make a difference to you, or do you notice anything different in the type of communication that you have?
No, I don't, because I feel that when people start talking about their stories, they just go. Once you start talking, the connection's there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's face-to-face
Right.
or online.
Right. People want to be heard, and people want to be appreciated. It's probably very therapeutic, isn't it?
It is for the client, depending on what we're talking about.
Right.
But yeah, talking about that, sometimes we have stories that are terrible, that we don't want to share.
Right.
But there is sometimes a reason to share that story. One of my clients was a childhood sexual abuse survivor. And she said, I should not be the one embarrassed. I want to tell my story, and I want to stop childhood sexual abuse. I want to say, hey, here's my book. I went through it. Let's stop it. Here's the signs. Let's see how we can help kids.
Yeah.
And so that was an example of a very, very terrible story that she shared. Yeah. And it turned out to be positive in the end, because she worked through it and she had something to do, something she wanted to say. Yeah. And it was an amazing book. Yeah, it was tough. It's tough, and it takes time to go through stories like that. But just because you've had a terrible thing happen to you, it doesn't mean that you should stay quiet, or need to stay quiet.
That's right.
I do a newsletter every month.
Tell me more about this newsletter. This is a service that you provide, or you teach, or you help, or what is this? Tell us about that.
So the newsletter is tips on how to start your memoir writing, as well as some story ideas and some ways to make your writing more interesting. Yeah. So a lot of people think when you just sit down and write, you just need to write about what happened. Yeah. But that's not all of it. Yeah. You need to describe things, you need to put dates, you need to put places, you need to put names.
Make it rich.
Yeah, make it rich, make it connect with people.
Right.
Because if you're just reading a facts of an event that happened, that's the news.
Right.
So you get that.
Yeah.
But you want a story.
And you want it to reach people's heart. So
Right.
they need to be emotionally connected too, right?
Yes. Most people, their most favorite books are when they go on a journey with the character,
Oh, yes.
with the main character. And they're feeling what that character's feeling. And they're going through, they can see things. They're like, oh yeah, I can see that
Mhm.
blue
Mhm.
sea over there.
Yes.
And so you want your readers, no matter who they are, they're your family or your friends or a stranger, you want them to go on a journey with you. You want them in your shoes.
And experiencing the senses, like smelling the ocean when you're
That's right.
standing with your feet in the sand and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
That's cool.
I will ask them questions to go further.
Mm.
Like they don't just say, I walked to the beach and I put my feet in the water.
Yeah.
I will say, okay, you walked on the beach. Was it sandy? Was it pebbly?
Right.
No, was it a hot day?
Right.
Like what
Did
was
it
going
burn
on?
your feet?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So you talk to that person and you get that kind of information.
right. Interesting.
Mhm.
What are some challenges you faced while building your business?
A lot of people don't, I shouldn't say a lot, some people don't value creative work. So writers, artists, music, yeah. So it is sometimes hard to get people to pay what I'm worth. So I do I think it's a 20% upfront.
Yeah.
And then 30% in the middle of the project,
Okay.
and then a final payment at the end. I structure everything with deadlines.
Yes.
So it's never open-ended.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, we're writing a book together and it's going to take, I don't know, let's not put a deadline on it. That doesn't work for anybody.
Right.
So
And not that it won't get done.
no, it won't get done.
Yeah.
So I have strict deadlines, so I know when to charge
Right.
and expect payment. Because I am online
Right.
and I don't have to have a physical office.
Yeah.
I can work with anybody from anywhere.
Nice.
I've done some work for people in Estonia and England and Malaysia, and I'm sure there's another spot, but I can't remember it right now.
How many hours a day do you work on average?
I probably work at least a minimum of 8 hours a day, and that can go, when I have a project due, that can go up to like 18 hours, and once it was
Wow.
24 hours because something didn't work, and
Wow.
I was like sleeping by my computer, and every half hour I would wake up and like see if it worked. Yeah, that was not a great night, but
We've all been through that, actually.
yeah.
Yeah. So when you say 8 hours, is that like including marketing yourself? That's you
Yes,
take.
yeah, I do. I do like boundaries.
Yes.
So I like to have a work day. I don't like working weekends, but of course, as entrepreneurs, we do.
Yeah.
And I want to spend time with my husband,
Yeah.
so I try to carve out business hours and personal hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
How would you describe your company's workplace culture?
I don't judge. So you come to me with a story. I'm not gonna sit there and judge your story. It's like, oh, right, what you say.
Yeah.
There, I do have some standards, so it's racist and hateful and such. Yeah, I'm not gonna work with you on that.
Yes.
But for the most part, what your story is your story. Who am I to judge it? Yeah.
So do you write the story as if they're the ones speaking or third person?
It depends. It depends on the client. Some people want it first person. So I did this. I went there. But some people prefer third person. Like Cindy did this. Cindy went there.
Yeah.
So it depends on the person. If you think of singing, there's opera, there's rap, there's jazz. And those are all different types of music,
Yes.
and they all speak differently.
Yes.
And that's just like us.
Right.
When we're telling our stories, we're all going to have a different voice, and we're all going to speak differently.
Yeah.
But who's to say that this voice is better than this voice or better than that voice?
What motivates you?
Everything. Writing stories, telling people stories, trying to get people to tell their stories too is a big motivator. And a lot of people think, oh, my story isn't any good. Like, no one will want to read my story.
Yeah.
But guess what? Somebody does. Your kids do, or if you don't have kids, your family, your friends, even somebody who doesn't want to feel alone.
Yeah.
They want to connect with somebody who's gone through something that they think no one else has.
That's right.
But here is your story saying, no, I went through it. I got through it.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was tough, but here I am.
How do you define success?
I think success is different for everyone.
Yes.
And success for me really comes down, and this sounds cliche, but it really comes down to the smiles on the client's face after, or the thank you. I never thought this would get written, and now it's done, and now I have it. What do I do now? That's
Yeah.
a lot of people, what they say, like, oh, that's done. What am I going to do now?
Yes. Wow. Do you believe there is some sort of pattern or formula to becoming a successful entrepreneur?
I wish there was, because then I would follow it. Then I'd be like, there's a template.
Yeah.
Let me take it, and I'll just follow it, and let's go. But no, there's not.
Yeah.
We all have different ways, and it's tough sometimes. It's really tough, but we have to get through these, and in the end they become our stories. And that's what builds our businesses are our stories, and how we went through challenges and struggles, and hopefully arrive at success.
Yes, exactly. Well, Leah, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day and sharing your story with us. I really hope that the viewers have a good understanding of what you do and why you do it. I will put your contact information below the video. Thank you for watching, and I wish you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you to Leah for allowing me to reintroduce her and her services to our tribe, our viewers. And if you want to be a guest, let me know. Let me know. I guess that's it. That's all for today, you guys. It's actually freezing out. I'm going to let you go. See you next week. Bye.